really want to welcome everyone and just thank you so much for being here. Just feel a lot of great energy in the room already. And Mashida is going to start us with prayer. And then Kabir is going to lead a short meditation. And I'll just give you a little bit of an outline of what's coming after that. We'll explain the World Cafe process. How many have ever done a World Cafe? Not too many. Okay, you're in for a treat. It's a really wonderful format for connecting and sharing inspiration and energizing on a particular topic. And so let's go ahead and start. And Mashida will lead us in a prayer.
May we be able
May we be able
to awaken thy love
to awaken thy love
in all hearts.
in our hearts.
Om
Amen.
Shanti. Amen.
Take a deep breath in. Tense the body just a little. Feel the presence of the body and exhale. Relax. Open our eyes. Look ahead. And while the eyes are open, still feel that presence of joy, of love, of family. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And on to Michael.
Thank you, Mashida, and thank you, Kabir. We could just meditate for a couple hours. It's always surprising how well you can feel the connection even over a technology like this. It's really amazing. So thanks a lot for that. Great beginning. All right, I'm going to explain about the World Cafe process, and we're going to jump into it. I found a definition I kind of like about what World Cafe is. It's a collaborative dialogue of collective intelligence and inspiration that leads to creative endeavors. So basically, we're gathering our intelligence, our spirit, our mana, our energy, and we're bringing it to bear on a particular topic. And in this case, it's really about Yogananda's teachings, and especially as how they relate to community building. And what I love about this work right now is the world is so hypnotized by great events and difficult times on our planet, no question. But this is the real work we can do. This is something positive we can all focus on. And I really think it's a great time to bring together those who are interested in this work to help each other, to support each other, to inspire each other. Okay, the format, very simple. We break into small groups of about 4 people each. We have a question in front of us, and it's kind of a launching point. You know, this is no doubt going to go places we don't expect, and that's okay. Then we'll come back to a large group, and that'll be what we call a harvest, and it's a time to gather what we've, thought and been inspired by that far. One very unique aspect of World Cafe is we will be creating a graphic representation of the day's inspiration. And I wanted to introduce Viola Chandel, who you see there. She's at the top of my screen, and she's very good at this. We're really glad and lucky to have her with us. And throughout the sessions, she is going to be gathering the inspiration and working towards creating a graphic representation of it.
And I just wanted to put out the questions, but also to say that again, these are sparks, these are starting points, and they keep us in the depth of the theme, but allow that to just go where it needs to go. And in addition to what Michael said about taking a turn, which I think is a great suggestion. One of the World Cafe ideas is that we all help each other to bring forth what we have to say. So each person, all the participants are invited to help make sure everyone has a chance to speak. What is alive for you in Yogananda's teachings about these times and about creating communities? So there's kind of two aspects, about these times, what's going on in the world, the things that we hold in our hearts that we've learned from Yogananda's teachings, and what is alive for you in the teachings and ideas and insights about communities and creating communities. So those aspects are held together in that question: what is alive for you in Yogananda's teachings about these times and about creating communities? And we can put that in the chat as well. And then the second question, we'll just follow up on that later. And we'll bring it in, of course, at the right time. What feels most inspiring to you from our discussions today? And what are some possible next steps? Very simple. We'll just have a chance to go a little further with it. So that's it for the questions. They are sparks and they get us going.
And just to
Michael?
clarify, the first question is for the first two sessions, and then we're going to
Right.
do the third session with the second question. So, and it will be written in the Google Docs as well, so you can find it there if you want to reference it. All right, Terry, are we ready?
Yes, I'm doing it now. If you see I accidentally put more than 4 people, just come back out, please.
We'll see you in 15 minutes.
I'd love to hear from you guys. What really resonated in your sharing? What touched your heart? What's opened up something for you as we were talking? Maybe some highlights.
For me, it was just the feeling of connection
Mm-hmm.
across. That was kind of a common theme of, it can be such an isolating world, and especially in this last group, we were just noticing, oh, I know you from here, and I know we're friends with this person, and just this network that is being created of devotees that's there, that really creates a feeling of connection deeper than just kind of that superficial level that sometimes you can get in society. And it's funny, in the first group I was talking about the Ananda College, and in the second group I was put with one of the alumni of the Ananda College. So they're random, always random, sure. So yeah, for me it was the connection, feeling connection.
Yeah, also, Jonica said something to me in that group that really stuck. And it was just, we were talking about the waves. Like he was saying, he's now taking a leadership role at Ananda. And instead of trying to do what his elders did, and just replace them, stepping into what's my role, what am I here to do, what's Yogananda, what's Master trying to do through me? And that really resonated with me, that we're not, because there was a lot of conversations in both groups about people coming in the 60s and 70s, because we had those in our groups, and now there's another wave happening. It's a different energy, it's very connected, but there's something fresh and new and alive and different in it. So that really stuck with me. Others? What were some highlights or moments you really, some aha moments?
Mm. Well, I could say that there was an aha just in your conversation, Dana, linking it to my last group meeting when Michael was sharing how The people that came prior, their focus was on building everything. When you're living rurally, right, it's about building everything that is available in the cities, and how now the reason why Polestar is where it's happening now. Before it was very rural also. Ananda Village is pretty rural. I'm learning that Song of the Morning Ranch is kind of rural. So that now to make things more accessible for a broader group of people who rural just may not either work, it's just inaccessible, they don't know that it exists, bringing it from the mountains in a sense, into the valley, so that the focus becomes not just us that are these spiritual people that are guru bhais, but the effect that we're going to be having on the broader communities that are even going to be around us. And in the meeting that I had with Michael and Justine and Jyoti, as I was talking, I had like a download moment of when Master talked about, go out north, south, east, west, and that it would be like communities are going to spread like wildfire. And I realized that it's the energetic of wildfire. It's not necessarily that we're going to have like all of a sudden 1 million communities sprout up, but that when there's enough of I forgot the languaging for it, but when there's enough energy, let's say, that has been focused into a community, that energetic then has an impact in the quantum field of entanglement throughout the entire planet. And so wherever these communities are in the rural sense, they are having an impact. But imagine what it will be like, a community in the middle of a city, and the impact that can have because of just there's more people. There's just more people. So I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think you could take an example of that in Germany, where they eventually founded a community center, not a community center, but they opened a bookshop in the middle of Cologne, in the city center, which serves as a meditation place and a place, I think, also yoga. There's several rooms, and also a shop. And so they just opened that just only a few weeks ago. And that vibration is going to spread out, of course, because of where the vibration is raised, then that's going to increase the vibration of the surrounding area as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of reminds me that when Swamiji started out, he didn't start out rurally. He went to San Francisco. He got the magnetism, going and got a lot of people interested. And it's like we can't be so comfortably secluded in our own little bubble that people have no way of finding out about what's going on and what we're doing. So I think it's like a hybrid. We want to reach out to them, but to show what's possible, we have to also nurture that example where we are connected more to nature and just basically they can become, part of that energy as well. But I think you can also do that in the city. I mean, if you can find enough land or, eventually I think humanity is going to move away from the cities, but I think everything has like stages and phases, and you can't always just go from 0 to 60. You have to have these stepping stones in between to really create a path for people and to lead them in a direction. Otherwise, you're going to miss out completely.
And so part of this conversation, this is really a fascinating start, is we have small, Song of the Morning is actually quite rural. There is a wonderful opportunity to um, deepen and strengthen. But then the opportunity to share with others becomes really important. The retreat aspect of Song of the Morning allows for that opportunity. But I'm also hearing the opportunity to take this to larger venues like urban areas or areas where there are more people.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. But the willingness to go outside of comfort zone to take the teachings to contexts that might be not the natural comfort zone is really beautiful. Not in a proselytizing way, but in a being. I'm thinking of Michael's instructions at the very beginning, to be as you are and to let Master's teachings emanate, radiate through the example. So, like that.
Each of them offers something very special and an important step to support people's spiritual journey at different stages. And so that's the thing that I meditate on with Master and Divine Mother, is like how that can be even, how we're going to work more collaboratively, because I still, the tendency still is sort of, maybe the vestiges of Kali Yuga. There's this form, this form, this form, but they're really it's a both and we how we keep that in our awareness, right, of how we can keep nurturing that collaborative, and take the positive and the of each of those ways of being and relating to one another, to help support each other. But in terms of the connection to the larger world and support, even with Ananda, you just sort of felt like you're out there on your own. And so I want to work with more that awareness and interactivity with all these colonies, rural communities, and the online, which is powerful and it's different. I that's sort of my thing.
Based on what Maitri said, I just had this idea. I mean, I thought about this even like 15 years ago, but what might be really cool would be to have like a portal online where all the different communities can basically showcase what they have to offer. So we can have this interpollination of people coming and going to different programs or karma yoga or buying each other's books or produce or products, whatever, taking courses from one another. And so basically it's like a connection virtually, and that way we all get to know more about one another and get to interact more with one another through the different offerings that we have. And of course, there could be a community like this too, where it's just for friendship and talking, but on that level of like serving one another, interdependency, and also if we're spending money with one another, in a way, we're creating this bigger web of an internal community, internal economy, you could say, where we're just, helping to support financially one another and helping each other grow stronger and stronger, both financially, but also, in spirit and energy, in like spirit support, not just, material.
Great idea. Thank you,
And
Vinay.
that actually happened with Mashita and Maria's visit. They had a friend with them who then came to be at Song of the Morning, has done our Karma Yoga program, and may be with us for longer. So that kind of thing can happen. And it's great to point people to different communities and retreats for different experiences.
Is vibrating with life and light and wants to be spoken into this space. And when you feel you have something, make it short and sweet so lots of people can have the chance to share that. Just say a word
An
or two.
important piece that came in our group briefly is the importance of our connecting more and more together as different communities of Yogananda. and to share and to be part of each other's lives to a certain extent. Start to create those bridges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was common in ours as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Others? Pop right in.
What came up for me is a quote we hear a lot within the SRF world is you can go fast alone, but you go far with others. You go
Mm-hmm.
far together, and that's the kind of spirit I feel in this sense, wanting to connect.
Yeah. Just kind of on that point, Mashita, in the last harvest, it was thinking like, that portal idea of representing the different communities. I feel like that would be a great collaboration with you and the Conscious Communities Institute. That seems like such a natural
Yeah.
way to present that. And the other things that came up were lean in and just take your next step. Doesn't need to be a huge next step, but just lean in and the next step will be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
And find a way to serve, because that just really puts you in tune and awakens your energy. And above everything, it just seems like we're all just tuning in, and it's just a matter of leaning in a little more for that next step and just continuing to follow the energy that's been flowing through us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, Jonica.
Yeah.
Pop right in, Carol. Who was? Josiah.
Community. It doesn't matter which community. We're all devotees.
Thank you. Carol, were you about to say something?
I just was wondering, in that spirit of connection, is there a way that, we can have our email shared, or, have a way to just be able to connect within this community again?
Absolutely. And I think also we had hoped this was the first, so as we go forward, we can do more. And we'll do some of that organizing at the end after the session is over. But yeah, absolutely. And of course, everyone would have a choice, but I feel like this is just the beginning.
Create a WhatsApp group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about very much about creating a portal of some, that was the word that was used, and I think it's been used already, and how to collect the information with all these communities. And Terry, we thought about your endeavor and what you're creating, and if that would be an appropriate connection for, is it Yuga is what you call your
Yuga.
yes, Yuga. So I just that might be a possibility, a way to.
It could be like a piece of it.
Yeah, it's a great idea, Susan.
The social aspect probably isn't kind of the main core, but it's more about sharing information, but definitely like sharing. But I think initially a WhatsApp group might be super simple. So then it's a platform to then do future planning. So we can talk in the core group if I'm happy to set that up if anybody.
Yeah, and emails too, if we can do that as well.
I have a question. I'm sorry I joined late, so if it's already been covered, but is there like a list of the various communities that are represented here today?
Not that I know of. I think that's to be done.
That'd be great. I'd love to. I'm looking for, investigating communities. So maybe if there was a list, I could look at each of them and I could know more about where everyone comes from.
She is
Or
probably
what
our
everyone's
local
creating.
expert. He can help us get started. One thing that came out in our group, I thought that was very interesting, is again about the portal. A lot of enthusiasm for that, but also just as a place that would include a marketplace and where we could share devotee accoutrements that are being created, art, different things that is happening around the world, and how that might happen in the Dwapara way of production.
Dana's new book.
All the time was that the vision of Yogananda for communities right now bring us so much hope, knowing that we can raise our level of consciousness and live already in another frequency. And by doing this, by coming with others, we create these havens of peace that we can radiate and be these channels and instruments for the world. And as we were sharing in our groups, it seems that there was a correlation of people feeling like we gotta live closer to nature, we gotta live simpler, and seeing now Yogananda's vision is just like, oh, it's all fitting and so much needed right now with these crazy times. So I just want
yeah, I was really felt how great it was to catch people's stories, to hear about what they're doing in building community, just the different aspects, and how strengthening that was and supporting it felt to realize so many others are working on this, and so I think that's just part of the value of this kind of connecting.
Hello, everyone. It's such an honor to be amongst you all in conversation today. And while you've been talking as introduced, I've been connecting with what you're saying, sharing, writing, kind of like what's coming together with the intent to kind of catch and collect what's coming together in the center. Like, what are you discovering together? And so I'm going to share my screen here just for a couple of minutes. And I'm going to show the visual to you, and I'm going to walk you through. So a few pieces might look very small in the beginning, but rest assured, I am going to zoom in and out to show you a little bit of the detail. So communities of spirit, right? I'm going to go to the beginning, the arriving. And I just heard someone say so beautifully, arriving, actually already living in high vibration. What is already there? In the beginning, I heard you say the divine presence, breath, and love permeating every cell and arriving with that joy and gratitude in order to bring that intelligence of everyone together and on to creative endeavors, supporting and inspiring each other, planting those seeds and drawing energy from deep places together in conversation. So from there, the question was, for a good part of this conversation, what is alive for you? Of course, all like this cafe is inspired by the teachings of Yogananda. So what is alive for you now? And I noticed two kind of like overarching categories or a pattern. And one was the inside myself. And this is represented here by this little human being, and then the havens of peace, the collective. So what's alive on the inside myself part was raising my consciousness, in charge of my nervous system, meditate, practice, and then in myself as well as in the larger system, uproot what is there and transform. Ask, what is my role now? That soul seeking, that dropping of layers. And then the central question I heard, how to prioritize peace in times of chaos. How do I stand unshaken in crashing worlds? How do I stand centered in light? And in that deep connection to community, with community, the havens of peace, where we are strengthening each other's practice, each other's gifts, connections, that simple living and high thinking, I believe somebody said, together. How do I show up, in that blessed by community space, in the what some of you call the church of all religions? So in that space, also other kind of question that came up, how to move to integration, further and further away from the separation. Somebody pointed out how supportive the environment is in this. A supportive environment is stronger than willpower. Those elements of unity, of celebration, of nature, good people, and the love for God. So overall, the themes of bridging, sharing, that interconnected momentum. You pointed out a new energy, like a freshness, something different arising from those deep seeds now. Somebody said, gave words to it by saying to bring it from the mountains to the valley, that accessibility of that expansion and that raising of the vibration and letting it ripple out and let more people connect with it. This whole piece around let it expand. And let it be a path with stepping stones, a gentle path. So based on those pieces and those patterns, like what's next? Some next steps. Like overall, I heard continue on the path, continue connecting, catching stories, catching projects. And also here in that next step space, a central question I heard, how do we collaborate more and more to nurture and support each other, to serve each other, both in spirit and material, global networks, online portals, because ultimately, rural, online, urban, all the different communities connected through newsletters, WhatsApp, Another College, lists of communities, marketplace portals, all of those pieces. So with that hope and that groundedness and already living in that high vibration and high connectedness, keep sharing and connecting. This is just the beginning, I heard. So lean in just a little closer and let's go far together.
Wow.
Woo! Brava! Wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
I'm gonna leave it up just for a few more seconds here, but hand it over to the team.
And also, we can send this to you. So when we email you, you'll
Please,
all
please.
receive
Oh,
this
amazing.
beautiful,
Wonderful.
beautiful. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's one of the beautiful, unique things about the World Cafe format. That's really lovely, is that visual harvesting.